countries who have food insecurity.
America went in 52 different countries and destroyed 52 different countries.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get it.
We like, that's why we.
The government is getting very supportive for these small and medium enterprises.
And from our application, you could meet with many translators.
Many of us is the alumni of IGNG.
So far,
It's a great event to see you all here, and we'll have fun. Let's rock it! Come on!
So, welcome to all of you to the beautiful of Tokyo. So,
I, on behalf of all of the committee and people in charge behind Youth Exhibition Tokyo 2019, would like to say thank you very much for spending couple of your beautiful days with us. To do the city challenge.
and growth. So those three are main
Indonesia also has a lot of potential to
Integration branding strategy in Japan and the policy package.
things of ours. Let's generate
started and passion, and hope you're gonna find your question and passion. Your
keep moving forward in terms of science.
Can you give some examples about what
Japan can no longer depend on its
class or every daily challenge?
Congratulations, you winning the great meal. Yeah. You can give speech. Thank you, Miss.
hope you're gonna find your question and passion in your country, and then coming back to Japan. Thank you.
here today, actually, I want to show you a different perspective of how I feel the climate change, that this kind of issue in our world, in our society.
Here we go. One thing that I truly always want to emphasize are these three words: love, courage, and purpose. I feel love in itself could probably solve every single global issue in the world. Love for people, love for the planet, love for life itself, and all of creation.
We, as human beings, produce gases that are trapped in that atmosphere. The sun produces sunlight and warmth, which is going on the planet, which is shines and giving her temperature to the globe.
So climate change has been considered as a security problem, obviously. And in the field of security studies, climate change is considered as a non-traditional security threat that impacts security in all levels: international, national, and individual level.
So the climate change in many aspects is a multiplier to the disaster, multiplier to the another impacts, multiplier to the development where the lack of progress are happening.
Good afternoon from Asia!
Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this exciting Saturday. It's me again, Ashifa, and I will be the host for today's inspirational webinars. Maybe many have realized that today I'm not alone. Yes, that's right. Today I will be accompanied by my charming friend and partner here.
Hello,
to
everyone.
Today's webinar, please say hello to Ari.
Hello everyone, and thank you so much Asifa for your compliment. Well, I am Ari, and as previously said by Asifa, I'll be the MC for today's inspirational webinar. And now we are going to say hello to all participants here. Please tell us where are you from in the comment section.
Don't hesitate to type. Let's see what we have here. Okay, Ari.
Let's begin with hello, apa kabar from Indonesia and Malaysia. Hello.
Okay, we can see Assalamualaikum Pakistan. Ni hao China.
And I want to see your best smile, Mabuhay, Philippines.
And we have our friends from Thailand too. Sawadee-ka.
Namaste, India.
And bonsoir, France.
Xin chào, participants from Vietnam.
Okay, we have so many participants here, right? Hello to all participants that we cannot mention your country one by one. Thank you very much for your attention. But we hope you will always be in good condition. Stay safe and good luck for this webinar.
It's such an honor for us can be here today and lead this inspirational webinar.
Yes,
During
that's
yesterday's
right.
international virtual event, who watched the live stream surpassed 1,000 people.
1,000 people,
wow,
can you
1,000
imagine?
people. It's really, really big, Ashifa, right?
I bet.
And this time, it turned out that there were already a lot of people watching here, and I extremely so excited, Ashifa.
Yes, extremely, and so I can feel your energy right away. I can feel your excitement, Ari, and I hope we're not the only one who is excited. I hope all participants here are also excited to join this webinar until the end. Why? Because the material in this webinar will be the question material in the quiz, which will be held tomorrow as well.
Absolutely right. To all participants here, please pay close attention to today's webinar, and hopefully you will be one of the 10 people selected to get a fully funded leadership trip to South Korea.
Okay, first of all, let's thank God who has given us His mercy and blessing so we can attend this program without any problems. Even though we are still in this pandemic situation, right, Ari? We should be confident to fight this with creativity. So thank you so much for your excitement. We can see it on the chat box, right?
Yes, and I'm so on fire for this webinar, Shiva. So as you guys already know, today we will talk about leadership and self-development. But before we start the presentation from our amazing speaker, we would like to inform you of today's agenda.
Okay, the first agenda, we will have presentation from Dr. Geofakta.
After the presentation, we move to the Q&A session. We will have 10-minute session in which you can ask everything related to the theme. Please send your question in the comment box, and our admin will choose the best questions to answer by the amazing speaker.
So I hope you guys already know what to question. And all right, no need to linger. Let's go straight to the first agenda, which is the presentation from Dr. Geofakta. Please welcome Dr. Geofakta.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you today?
Hello, I'm good. How about you? Thank you, Asifa. Thank you, Ari.
Thank you for having us today. Also, Dr. Geofakta, what makes you most excited for today?
Thank you. This is a very clear chance, and there is a good chance for me to showing off how the self-development and leadership can build our better future, our better world.
All right, sir. Are you ready to start this webinar?
Sure, I'm ready. I'm very ready.
So, to the Dr. Geofakta, the spotlight is yours.
Thank you for our presenter, Asifa and Ari, and I will try to share my screen. Wait a second. Okay, hello everyone. So welcome into this event and webinar on leadership and development of the self. It's my belief that if we ever want to lead anybody, it doesn't matter whether is this a team in a business or an organization? It doesn't matter if it's a sport team. It doesn't matter if it is a local community club. It doesn't matter if our family. We all need to be leaders. Whoever we want to lead, if we choose to be leaders, we choose to be leader of any sort of situation. So my name is Geofakta. We were going to move some part of this webinar. We were going to start with the introduction, how the leadership, and what is the leadership. Then we're going to move on the best way to experience a little look at the best way to explain this. And in this webinar, how you can get the most out of it. How I'm going to provide you with as much information as I can, how you can best take all that in hand. Then we can choose to learn of a process and our leadership on communication skills, also emotional choice and intelligence, emotional behaviors and needs. Really dig down in that section there. I've left it till the end for a reason, because in that section, I want to drag you right the way to that, because that is key, because you will not only know so much about yourself, you find out also for a team and for people around us. And I need to see more content before I can write this. There is a little bit of to the side that say ask me later, just hit and then carry on this webinar. So we move to the first line is the best way to experience in leadership. The best way you can possibly experience is webinar on how to get the best out of it. Now, through those this course, I'm going to be throwing information at you, and I appreciate the some point. And the first one is you need to very passionate. You need to very be energetic person. And then I believe in what I teach, and therefore I get very passionate about it. Hopefully you get more passion coming through that are so grabbed through the camera and the screen, and then you can feel the passion to be a leadership. You need to feel good. You need to feel and know who you really are. And the John C. Maxwell has said the best teacher for a leader is evaluated experiences. So most of my life is about helping other people. It is just something that draws me in. If you've seen any of my other course, you know they're about coaching and about. Sorry, Mas Gio bisa share screen nggak? Okay, okay. Okay, wait. I will try. Wait. Okay, can you see the PowerPoint, guys?
Presentation is good, but can we see your face, sir?
Okay. So I want to talk to you about something that I use, phrase that I use very regularly, and you will hear I throughout this course is called conscious responsibility. So now we all have a ton of things going in our life. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. It doesn't matter what you do at home. There is always a ton of stuff going on, isn't it there? So the leadership needs one requirement is conscious responsibility. We all have emotion flowing through us. We all have emotion about different situation and how we react to this stuff. We all have experience for us all the time, whether it be experience at work or experience at home, or when we watching the TV, tripping over our outside, or the dog barking too loud. Some of the ones of the experience too, I experience other database. Maybe we all having this coming. So there is a difference about the conscious and conscious. For the conscious, you knowing right from the wrong thing, and the conscious is you are being awake or aware of the something happen in our situation. And then we can say conscious responsibility for our moods, where the way gets up as an angry person or happy person, whether we get up as sad person or as a joyful person, whether we get up as a person filled with energy or a person who just we call conscious responsibility. So that's a key question. Who are you willing to become? Are you willing to become the person that is run by their emotion? Doesn't believe there is a choice in any situation, or do you want to become the person who runs their emotion, who knows they have a choice in a situation, and who is going to take the time to have to the process behind any situation and choose the right way for what's make a conscious choice rather than unconscious. You see, our unconscious mind has got a whole bunch of set patterns that is been building up for a years. So the first requirement you need to be a leadership is conscious responsibility. And then when you do this conscious thing, you will going to grab all and lead yourself. I trust and I hope you are with something happen in our situation and our word, we need to conscious. So you can help lead others in their lives because you do the conscious thing, and the conscious thing will take you for the good responsibility. So we can see the difference about the traditional mindset of leadership and the conscious leadership. If you do the traditional leadership, you will motivate with the authority and power. If you do the conscious leadership, you will active listening and coaching people. And if you do the traditional leadership, you will more the self-focused, independent, and performance driven. And when you conscious leadership, you will self-aware, connected, and tuned with a team. So there are something you can see in the slide. If you are the conscious leader, you will doing the some part of growing motivation with yourself. You will self-mastery, and you will create a system inside, and you will do the relationship about one people to the other people with a conscious relating. And so you will find a collective responsibility. So you need to realize that this conscious thing will be a little bit method for growth because of maybe a bit of information that comes of that day. You need to be conscious and you need to take a responsibility for your conscious thing. Okay. Marshall B. Rosenberg have said we are dangerous and we are not conscious of our responsibility for how we behave, think, and feel. And when we conscious, we realize we have an option and we can choose. Most of people do not have this ability. So you need to have this ability. When you need to be a good leader, you need to be a conscious because when you are conscious, you will realize you will have a option and you will have several things to choose with the good argument. Okay, and then we need to take opportunity. We need to look at how the people learn. How the people learn is the most of thing that leadership to do to making works and how you can be a better decision maker. This is start from how you learn and how you grow, and then how you practice some things, and you will grow and increase some confidence. When you got the confidence, you got the competition, and you have a comfort zone to do something, to do previous thing, to do the future activity, and this is will bring you to some decision making. We are always growing. It's a requirement of life, but not every leader learn about how the people learn. Now I'm going to point out something why here early on one of my previous webinar, would you believe negative review, because we never learn about the what people do, what people learn, and this is one thing that you can learn to be a leader also. There is something when we talk about how our brain is processing the perspective. This is the one is how we got the experience from the process and decision making when we ignore something, when we consider about something, and when we act about something. There is some information that we need to filter, and when we filter the information, will be the 3 point of our life, some idea, some experience, and what the decisions that gonna be correct and gonna be wrong. This is the most important also for the leader. So some people just let everything go and they just react, or it's just a natural reaction, or just reacting to that. When we got the natural reaction, we need to filter some information, and we have a choice, or conscious mind comes before unconscious mind while we're awakened in. And then in our life, we have a perception about the internal and external people. We take a picture, we look at that picture when we have a perspective about something to be a leader, when we see how the glass is full, how the glass is half empty, and maybe the glass is need resizing. So there is some perspective about our life, and we're saving our mindset and what is to be happy. What the thing that we learn is always to be make. Yeah. So The internal perspective covered in the next video. We are going to look at external perspective and how we can use external perspective in various ways to get more information, make better choice. And this is when we talk about the self-perception. There is always mindset. There is always something in our phenomenology. What is to be happy? And when we doing something happy, we will lead other people with happy also. So we can learn about the internal perspective about the static mindset and the progress mindset. When the people in the static mindsets, these people will decide their abilities and talents determine their success. Sometimes they are feeling no good at solving problems, but we see the different about the progress mindset. The people with the progress mindset is always talking about the efforts and attitude determines their success, and they can improve problem solving ability. So this is the effect of how we can take an internal perspective to be a leader. And then, so we're moving on to external perspective. I think in the human brains has this amazing capacity to be able to shift into different perceptual position or different perspective and see something here, something feel something from a completely different position. Let's give you an example of you having a conversation with somebody. Maybe you sat in a coffee shop and yourself see somebody having a cup of coffee with the team. You're having a conversation, you're having a chat over, say all of a sudden somebody says of the person thinks he says something for that some reason you don't like. Not sure that it will be just so you don't like how you react to go it. You react to the counter that whatever they said and you go back and them and they don't like that you go back on them so they go back at you. You don't come back. You say you go back and all of a sudden heated debate or heated discussion or maybe even an argument. So when we talk about the external perspective, there is something emotionless point of view. You have no vested emotion in that point. You are purely an observer. You could have a glass screen so that all the motion of bouncing off and not hitting you, but you can still hear what's going on from around the side of the screen when you sit down. As the observer, you look at what's going on in our surrounding area. So you need to have always used two or more perspective if you have to be a good leader. And then you go and sit them and tell me what they think of that conversation, what their perspective of the conversation, what they would say about the conversation when they remove their emotion from it and they literally just sat there as an observer. So when you going to the external perspective, you need to be an observer to look around what the people do surrounding you, and you have to take a break, to take a perspective and always use two or more perspective. Expand. The Tony Robbins, one of my favorite motivator, said you need to expand your references and you will immediately expand your life. So let's talk briefly about references. I'm not talking about the references you get when you're moving into a house or letting or renting. Not all of other references you get when you starting a new job and somebody wants to know you or from a past life experience or past job or something along those lines. Even talking about the references you need if you're going to get a passport and you need to certainly in the UK maybe need to get a doctor, a professional or a lawyer or something to sign in to say yes that. Who's this person I'm talking about here is the reference, is they we build up in the moment to use. A quote from Tony Robbins, when you expand your references, you immediately expand your life. There are references of how we take things in, we file stuff away. So I mean, you can close it again in the next drawdown as we put it open those references or feel differently, not for individual, that is for him. The thick references files because the way we do things, if we clam things together, we come certain experience together. So you need more references in your journey, how you can take a responsibility, how you to be a diligent person, and how you to be a creative thinking in some part of our situation, our condition. So you need to catch up any reference in your life, loving to getting on the running machine, love getting on the side of the right machine lifting weight. And then when you talk about something, the most important in the leadership is a communication and the listening skill. In the communication, there is some part of study like a language, how to negotiable, and then question and answer, and also our listening skill will bring us to the meanings of life, certainty, and belief. The art of communication is the language of leadership. We took we to look at how we use language specifically to affect people and to affect people and the way they talk so that we can be more effective talking to them. We're going to cover all of this so that you know how to become a more effective communicator to you. Okay. Leadership start from how you communicate at the question in your life. This is your ability to appoint it and comment yourself and the comment other people. We use a internal language. We will back to remember in earlier PowerPoint, I mentioned that we take all of our experience. We take them all into our sense and then we turn into the language. So use the easy language that people understand about your PowerPoint and then your conversation by looking at a different perspective and different references on the word, we can actually change what we believe because we see things from a different point. So this is a point of communication that we send a message from the communicator to the communicant. So make it clear you have an internal language that understanding for the communicant. And then the most important, how you talk to yourself is also the most thing that you need to know. If you want to change the results, so check the question. Why do this always happen to me? We will always say this word to ourselves and we can affirmative to how can I stop that things happen to me? And then we sometimes say that why cannot life just be so easy? So you need to affirmative your word. So how can I enjoy this every moment? So with the positive and solutive words and your language and your good affirmative, your narrative to yourself, it will make your growth, your communication, and hopefully it will fully deserve to people understand why you survive, why you do something in some condition. So in our life is there are 3 learning communication leadership style. The first one is visual. Visual is the method of the learn through seeing. See the teacher and sit in front of classroom, think in pictures, learn best from the visual display, and then learning from the auditory, learning from the listening, like we hear atau we listen verbal lesson, discussion, and listening to other interprets meanings by listening and might read aloud, and the kinesthetic. So take a look at 3 types of learning style below, which resonate the most with you and why. Maybe you are an auditory person, or you are a kinesthetic person, or you are a visual person. So when you have to choose this learning communication in leadership style, you will easier to send a message for your audience. And the most important, you need to know the difference about the hearing and the listening. So when you're hearing something, this is an accidental moment, and then involuntary moment, and effortless moment. When you talking with the listening, you will focus to some point, and you will voluntary, you will got an empathy and intentional. So there are some 6 key active listening skill. The mostly one, you need to pay attention of our audience, and you withhold judgment and reflect ourselves with the situation and condition around us and clarify and summarize something. And then in the chapter 6, you need to learn about the emotional choice and the intelligence. Some people with a good emotional intelligence, he will get some motivation to other people, and he will very have a good skill about the leadership. This start from the listening. Let's move on the looking at something that is absolutely crucial to your life as a leader. And we're talking about the importance of listening to yourself and listening to your own. There is some passion is crucial to that person building a connection with people, with other people to lead someone. They need to trust you. They need to trust you on your command. Okay, in our life, there is 3 emotional circle. One is physical association, and then we're going to attention, and we're going to language and meaning. So maybe they coordinate or even get excited when it's not appropriate. The best leaders in the world know how to lead themselves in this. You need to know when you go to the first thing in your life, we were always talking about the physical association with some people to another people. And then we got some attention, and we will interpret our perspective with the language and the meaning. Some, as promised, I fill in the boxes so we can look at what creates any emotion that you have choose to have. Let's go around and figure out what those 3 things are, those 3 core things that create your emotion. First of all, the topic is the physical association. No, there is always physical association to every single emotion or physical association. How we use our body, how we use our psychology creates an emotional response, and an emotional response creates a physical association. Okay, let's compare that and say that over this, why you can see them on this side of the office. There is somebody who's depressed. What is their physical association? What are they doing with their body? Where is their head? And we need to understand about these people. Maybe this is actually scientifically proved. No, there is a doctor by the name Dr. Candice Perhubecks in 70. Jimmy was the first person to ever prove the connection between mind and body. And what happens in when your mind feels emotion, it sends a stream of chemical peptides down into your body. They connect with every single cell in your body and chemically change every single cell in your body, so that this feels emotion. So the leadership need emotional intelligence. You are feeling angry, or you're upset or sad, even depressed, and don't notice what you are doing with your psychology and change it. Go out for a walk, jog, or run, or bike, or ride. Put on some loud music and sing along to it, and dance along to it. So make it simple. What about if you focus on some great things from your life? Sometimes when you are joyful, when you are happy, when you saw it, when you are loved and cared for, when you felt completely amazing. I just want to close the session now by talking about something called emotional intelligence or emotional IQ. And that's what I'm trying to give you here, on to give you the starting point of some emotional intelligence so that you can be emotional intelligence in your life. Now, when we talk about the emotional intelligence, we're talking about the maturity, not maturity as in just growing up from being a kid into being adult. We are talking about the maturity of choice and maturity of emotion. Let's look at this individually, showing maturity of thought. Now we have already been through is one of the previous action. We already been through how we think and to process how we take stuff and how we filter stuff out first, like in the little things that we don't need to know, how our brains do that first completely automatically. We then get to point where we can ignore, we can consider, or we can act, and that is where the maturity of truth comes in the maturity. There is some emotional intelligence in our work. The first one is self-awareness, how we see our self-image, how see our ideal self, and how we see our self-esteem. And then we need to be empathy with our emotional intelligence to feel anybody, to feel other people, how they survive the world. And we going to the motivation and have a self-regulation principle. This is a social skill. When you have emotional intelligence and maturity, you will have some effect in your leadership. The first one is improve decision making, and you will decrease it occupational stress, reduce staff turnover, and increase personal well-being, increase leadership ability, and increases team performance. So when we combine about our brain, when we combine our brain with our hearts, this will be a imaginary vision to our audience. When we have a level of emotional intelligence, we keep growing as human beings. We keep growing in a spiritual sense. We keep growing in intellect since we keep growing in any way we can be learning by practicing, by going. And doing anything we can to keep going to self-reflect, to find out where we need to grow, which are the areas of our life we need to grow in. Is he getting more intelligence in a certain area? Is it growing spiritually, growing as a person, growing as a human being? Whatever that may be, his time to reflect on yourself. Have look and go, and you can go with the emotional intelligence in yourself. Okay, so you can go on and lead and develop others. In this section, in this final section, we are going to look emotional behaviors and needs. We are going to discover why people do what they do, why you do, what you need to do. And towards the end of the section, I'm going to let you into a shortcut to happiness fulfillment for yourself and for anybody else that you choose to share this information with. Let's look at the behaviors first, shall we? I'll be yours if you have done any work with no pay. One of presupposition of NLP is that every single behavior has a positive intent. There is some emotional needs in our life. There is our needs to be secure in the security and to move, to change, to be connecting with the other people, and to be learn and always grow, and measurement. So we fill in the emotional needs into our current motivation. So when it going to current motivation, it will be your behavior. And it will help you to achieve your goal. When you have finished with yourself, you can influence people with the attitude, with the perception, with the learning, with the reasoning, and the decision making. The need for change, the need for importance, and the need for connection to other people. Thus, we meet in some way, shape, or form. Let me give you the example of somebody taking a gun into a shop. I know you don't like that example, but it's a good example of meeting needs in a negative way. If I have got a gun, I walk into a shop and put it into somebody's head. Do I have a security? Am I certain about my actions at the time? Yes, I've got a gun. I'm certain you're going to do what I tell you to do. The situation changing and the value you might do in this city, somebody might walk in that door. What absolutely we need to learn about this emotional needs, it's what about connection? Are you connected to each other? Absolutely you are. you are connecting through love, you are connecting through a bond you have. So we meet those four needs in a positive ways too. And then the two at the bottom, here we about fulfilling our life. We have the need to learn and grow. We have to need always growing. It's a law of nature. And then the last one, when you going to be a leader, you need to choose what behavior you choose to fulfill the needs. There is a common leadership style in the new era of study, the leadership and the style. The first one is coach or motivational style. You need to be a leader with the motivation other people. You need to be a coach, or you be a visionary, or you be a servant. Servant is humble people and protective. Or you choose to be autocratic leadership. And then also laissez-faire or hands-off autocratic and delegatory leadership, or democratic leader, peace-setter, helpful and motivational, and then transformational, challenging and communicative, transactional, or performance focused. So you have to choose your leadership style, and then you need to find your style to lead a people. In a work setting, centering communication as a core leadership value manifests in many ways. It can take the form of conveying context to employee, or it can be setting clear expectation for individual and teams, or even providing and seeking. A leader may have a clear vision, but unless communication is a driving value, others will not be able to share it. The number one thing that you have to do as a leader to booster the confidence of the people you lead. The empathy and then humility is the ability to understand others, see from the point of view, and feel what they are feeling. Is it a value that is held in high regard by many senior executive and good business leaders? The importance of empathy as a leadership value is not simply to be nice or likable. You can build a far stronger team by exercising empathy and understanding each person's motivation with whom you work. Empathy will help you match people's strengths and skill to the roles where they can make the most impact. It will help you build and sustain positive and productive relationship. It will also help you recognize the core value of others on your team. This is the knowledge that you can harness for the betterment of each individually and the company. So an extraordinary leader is not only capable or commanding influence or communicating successfully, they are also first committed to meeting organizational goals, and then passionate about the company and their leadership role within it, and demonstrate ferocious resolve when faced with adversity. A leader with this kind of mindset can motivate everyone around them. Their passion and energy are so infectious that it drives and uplifts the entire team. And the last one, you need to be a respect leader. You can demonstrate respect through many of the behavior already listed before. One is empowering others. Two is strong communication skill. Three, recognition of employee ability. And then the four is empathizing with the situation of others. Respect should also move in all directions. Treat upper management, your board, your employee, and customer with the respect they deserve to gain respect in return. So that's all for the self-development and leadership. Integrity is a character trait that gains respect and trust. As a leader, integrity means approaching of your work with the consistency, coherency, the way you communicate with others, carry out your organization mission, and approach new situation. Integrity means honoring commitment, including to yourself, and doing what you say you will do, as well as approaching challenges in a way that are coherent with other value and belief. Leading with integrity can sound abstract because it encapsulates so much, but you can think of isn't integrating of your core leadership value. The end justify the means, it means violating our core value. The people who work for us notice if we only exhibit our value when times are good by knowing your leadership value, reviewing them, and having them guide your actions, you will be leading with integrity no matter what your company faces.
Wow. Such an inspiring presentation from Dr.
Geofakta.
Thank you very much to Dr. Geofakta. As we already listened, Dr. Geofakta is talking about the leadership, and I'm very passionate about self-development, Ari.
Yes. And the important message that I got from Dr. Geofakta is we need to look and see other perspective to be a good leader. And also we need to more references to improve our experience as our journey to be a good leader.
Super agree, Ari, and to expand our lifestyle and everything. And there's one thing as well about active listening, to be able to listen and learn, because as we know, as a leader, they tend to have a good communication skill and public speaking skill, but as a leader we need to improve our listening skill as well. To be a good listener, an active listener is a must.
That's correct, Ashifa. So we hope from this presentation, our participant will get a great knowledge for their future. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Geofakta. So hello youth leaders, welcome back again with us. I am Ari.
And I'm Ashifa.
Yes, and now we are now on our last agenda, which is the Q&A session. While waiting for the admin to choose the best question, let's watch the video from the International Global Network. Check this out.
The wait is over. Are you ready to expand your connections with other 500 plus youth from all around the world and start to improve your soft skills massively? And when you thought it ends there, this event will be held in Bangkok, Thailand. Yes, you hear it right. Join the biggest youth conference. The wait is over. Are you ready to expand your connections with other 500 plus youth from all around the world and start to improve your soft skills massively? And when you thought it ends there, this event will be held in Bangkok, Thailand. Yes, you hear it right. Join the biggest youth conference. The wait is over. Are you ready to expand your connections with other 500 plus youth?
We are very sorry to announce that the Q&A session won't be held right now. I'm very sorry to announce that.
But don't worry everyone, because if you want to see all or a whole experience in this webinar, you can see in our YouTube channel, International Global Network.
Because of technical problem, we won't be held our Q&A, and unfortunately, we are at the end of this event. Before I end this webinar, I want to remind all UTech's Future Leaders 2023 participants that tomorrow there will be a webinar and quiz to determine the 10 best participants who will get a fully funded leadership trip to
South Korea.
Make sure you follow the entire series of webinars because the quiz questions will refer to 3 webinars on 29 and 30 October. The quiz instruction is already sent to your email and you can access it on our Instagram at UTech's Future Leaders at Youth Excursion, YOUTHEXCURSION, Youth Excursion on Instagram.
So everyone, don't forget for tomorrow's session. So ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the host and the committee of the entire UTech's Leaders 2023 committee, we say goodbye and sorry if there are many shortcomings and wish good luck for you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you next time.
Cheers.
Have a great day, everyone.
Delegates from 79 countries all over the world, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Grand Symposium of the Asia Youth International Model Federation Remote themed Human Security Agenda in the Globalization World.
In times of peace, children are the ones who bury their parents. However, in times of war, the natural order is disrupted and it is parents who bury their children.
Meanwhile, data from the Ministry of Social Affairs states that in 2016 there were over 56,000 underage children who are working as sex workers.
General Assembly, and the General Assembly is the one who actually discusses all countries involved.
3, 2, 1. Delegates are standing as suspended.
If we are allowing our countries to be in the safety of other countries, they could do
The
it.
SDGs that we have just changed in 2015 will become the future in 2030.
President voting. President and voting.
Yemen is facing outbreaks of cholera where almost 1 million have been affected.
The United States of America believe that child soldiers are killing the hopes of the children.
Instead of having underdeveloped countries who have food insecurity,
Destroyed half of America went in different 52 different countries and destroyed 52 different countries.
Ladies and gentlemen, hands together.
this we like. That's why we.
The government is getting very supportive for these small and medium enterprises.
And from our application, you could meet with many translators.
Us is the alumni of IGN.
So fun.
It's a great event to see you all here, and we'll have fun. Let's rock it! Come on!
So, welcome to all of you to the beautiful of Tokyo. So, I, on behalf of all of the committee and people in charge behind Youth Exhibition Tokyo 2019, would like to say thank you very much for spending couple of your beautiful days with us.
Indonesia also has a lot of potential contribution brand strategy in Japan and the policy package.
Things of ours. Let's generate.
Passion, and hope you're gonna find your question and passion. Your
keep moving forward in terms of science.
Can you give some examples about what?
Japan can no longer depend on its
On time, timing, class already daily challenge. Congratulations, you winning the great meal. Yeah, you can give speech. Thank you.
You're gonna find your question and passion in your country, and then coming back to Japan. Thank you.
today, actually, I want to show you a different perspective of how I feel the climate change, that this kind of issue in our world, in our society.
One thing that I truly always want to emphasize are these three words: love, courage, and purpose. I feel love in itself could probably solve every single global issue in the world. Love for people, love for the planet, love for life itself, and all of creation.
We, as human beings, produce gases that are trapped in that atmosphere. The sun produces sunlight and warmth, which is going on the planet, which is shines and giving her temperature to the globe.
So climate change has been considered as a security problem, obviously. And in the field of security studies, climate change is considered as a non-traditional security threat that impacts security in all levels: international, national, and individual level.
So the climate change in many aspects is a multiplier to the disaster, multiplier to the another impacts, multiplier to the development where the lack of progress are happening.